The absolute best part about Unrivaled Day 4 were the 10 minutes that Lexie Hull.
The absolute best part about Unrivaled Day 4 were the 10 minutes that Lexie Hull played. Lexie Hull just delivered a performance that shook the Unrivaled League. In one game, she silenced critics, outshined Angel Reese, and gave the Rose Basketball Club their first win. Stick around to find out how Hull redefined the game and the team's future. And both teams had not had a win yet. I called it the battle. The defeated one team was going to come away with a win, and that one team was Rose, and the player that helped make it happen was Lexie Hull. The Rose Basketball Club started their unrivaled season on shaky ground with 0 wins, clunky play, and a team identity that felt non-existent. At the heart of their struggles, a misguided focus on individual performances rather than cohesive teamwork. And at the center of it all was Angel Reese, a player with star potential, but whose playing style didn't align with what the team desperately needed. Lexie Hull, riding the bench over there and Unrivaled has caused some speculations about Lexie Hull to be stirred up again because we were trying to figure out why isn't she able to get any time on the court. Meanwhile, Lexie Hull, a proven sharpshooter and elite defender, waited in the wings, barely seeing the floor across 2 games. She logged just 8 minutes of playing time. 8 minutes for a player of her caliber. That wasn't just frustrating, it was baffling. Fans noticed, commentators noticed, even her teammates likely noticed, and yet she sat on the bench, watching as the team stumbled to 2 straight losses. The question wasn't whether Hull had the talent to contribute, it was why she wasn't being given the chance. The Rose's offense was slow and disjointed, heavy relying on Angel Reese's stat-padding efforts. Reese would rack up points and rebounds, but those numbers didn't translate to wins. The team lacked fluidity, energy, and the kind of spark that Hull could have provided. It wasn't just about offense either. The Rose's defense had glaring weaknesses, allowing opponents to exploit mismatch and control the tempo. Hull's defensive skills, her ability to lock down opponents and disrupt passing lanes, could have been a game changer, but for reasons that left many scratching their heads, she remained on the sidelines and everything changed. So this actually ended up being a nail-biter, folks. It was kind of even. They were both playing pretty bad in the beginning. Not terrible, but they weren't playing great. But as the game went on, it was pretty obvious that the Rose was a dominant team until the foul situation caught up with them, and by the end of the third quarter, the Mist had scored 14 points just off of fouls in their 3rd game of the season. The Rose Basketball Club finally gave Hull a chance to prove herself, and she didn't just seize the opportunity, she obliterated any doubts about her value, playing significant minutes. For the first time, Hull delivered a jaw-dropping performance: 19 points on 8 for 11 shooting, along with 3 assists and 3 rebounds. Her efficiency was off the charts, and her impact was undeniable. We who have watched the Indiana Fever, we know what Lexie Hull can do. We really were thinking, come on now, coach, what's the deal? Hey, well, she got in the game early on Saturday night, and I guarantee you Nola Henry, the coach, and the coaching staff definitely not disappointed. Performance wasn't just about scoring, it was about how she elevated her entire team. On offense, her sharpshooting stretched the floor, forcing defenders to stay honest and creating space for her teammates to operate. She didn't just rely on her 3-point shot either. Hull attacked the basket with confidence, scoring 14 of her points from inside the paint. Her ability to read the defense and find opportunities made her a constant threat on the defense end. Hull was just as impressive. Her on-ball defense frustrated opponents, while her awareness and anticipation allowed her to disrupt passing lanes and force turnovers in a game format like 3-on-3 basketball, where every player's individual contributions are magnified. Hull's all-around game was a perfect fit. What made her breakout performance even more significant was the context. While Hull thrived, Angel Reese struggled. Reese, who had been the team's focal point in the first 2 games, played just 8 minutes and finished with a disappointing stat line: 4 points, 3 turnovers, and 4 fouls. It was a stark contrast to Hull's dominance and raised serious questions about the team's approach. Reese's struggles weren't just a 1-game anomaly. Her playing style, heavily reliant on pick and rolls and isolation plays, was all suited to the fast-paced, space-oriented nature of 3-on-3 basketball. While she could rack up stats, those numbers often came at the expense of team efficiency and rhythm. The Rose's offense looked stagnant with Rhea as the focal point, and their defense couldn't compensate for her limitations. Poor performance highlighted just how much the team had been missing her ability to adapt to the unique demands of 3-on-3 basketball, where quick decision-making, spacing, and defensive versatility are key. Was exactly what the Rose needed, and yet for 2 games, her potential had been wasted. But let's take a closer look at what made Hull's breakout game so special. It wasn't just about the numbers, though those were impressive enough. It was about the way she played the game. For one, Paul's off-ball movement was a masterclass in creating opportunities. She constantly kept the defense guessing, cutting to the basket at just the right moments and finding open spots on perimeter. Her ability to read the game and anticipate her teammates' actions made her a nightmare for defenders. And there was her shot selection. Hull didn't force anything. Every shot she took was within the flow of the offense, whether it was a catch-and-shoot 3-pointer or a drive to the basket. Her efficiency wasn't just a result of her Skill, it was a reflection of her basketball IQ. Defensively, Hull was relentless. She matched up against some of the league's top scorers and held her own, using her quickness and strength to stay in front of her opponents. Her ability to switch on to different positions and still make an impact was a game changer for the Rose, who had struggled to contain opposing teams in their first 2 games. Hull's breakout performance also had a ripple effect on her teammates with her. On the floor, the Rose's offense looked completely different. The ball moved faster, the spacing improved, and players seemed more engaged. It was as if Hull's energy and confidence were contagious, lifting the entire team performance. Of the fans who had been clamoring for Hull to get more playing time, this game was vindication. It proved what they had been saying all along, that Hull wasn't just a role player, she was a difference maker. The question now is what this means for the Rose Basketball Club moving forward. Will Coach Nola Henry recognize Hull's value and make her a key part of the team's rotation, or will she revert to the old playbook, prioritizing Reese's individual stats over team success? One thing is clear, the Rose Basketball Club is out of crossroads. They've seen what Hull can do when given the chance. They've seen how her presence on the court can transform their offense and defend. The ball is in their court now, and it's up to them to make the right decision. But Hull's breakout game isn't just about her own journey. It's a lesson for the entire league. It's a reminder that talent and teamwork matter more than individual accolades. It's a statement about the value of players who can impact the game in multiple ways, not just through scoring. For Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and other rising stars in the WNBA, Hull's performance is a blueprint for success. It shows that adaptability, effort, and basketball IQ can make all the difference, even in a league filled with elite talent. Hull's journey is far from over. This is just the beginning of what could be a defining chapter in her career. But one thing is certain, she's no longer just a player waiting for her chance. She's a player who has proven she belongs on the court, and she's not going anywhere. While Lexie Hull's breakout performance has already become the talk of the Unrivaled league, it's the ripple effect of that game that make this story so compelling. Her 19-point performance wasn't just a moment of personal triumph. It was a revelation for a team that desperately needed one. The Rose Basketball Club entered the season with high expectations. On paper, they had a strong roster. Angel Reese was supposed to be their centerpiece, a double-double machine who could dominate on both ends of the floor. But what they lacked was cohesion. The team didn't just need a star, they needed a system that worked. And as it turns out, Lexie Hull may be the key to unlocking their full potential. Let's talk about Angel Reese for a moment. In the first 2 games, she was the focal point of the Rose's offense. Every play seemed to run through her, and while she put up respectable numbers, the team performance as a whole suffered. The offense was slow and predictable, and the defense couldn't keep up with the pace of the game. Reese's playing style, which relies heavily on pick and rolls and isolation plays, just didn't translate well to the fast-paced, high-energy world of 3-on-3 basketball. Instead of creating opportunities for her teammates, her style often stole the offense, making it easier for opponents to lock down the Rose's scoring options. When Hull finally got her chance, the contrast couldn't have been clearer. Her quick decision-making, off-ball movement, and ability to stretch the floor were exactly what the Rose had been missing. And while Reese struggled in limited minutes during the 3rd game, Hull thrived. But this isn't just a story about Reese's struggles, it's a story about how Hull's success might actually help her teammate in the long run. With Hull taking on a larger role, Reese won't have to shoulder as much of the offensive burden. This could free her up to focus on other aspects of her game, like rebounding and defense, where she can still make a significant impact. To truly understand why Hull's performance was so impactful, you need to understand the unique demands of 3-on-3 basketball. Unlike traditional 5-on-5 games, where players can sometimes hide their weaknesses behind teammates, 3-on-3 basketball exposes everything. Every player has to be versatile, quick, and capable of contributing on both ends of the floor. Hull's skill set is perfectly suited for this format. She's not just a sharpshooter, she's a complete player. Her ability to read the game, anticipate plays, and make smart decisions is invaluable in a setting where every possession counts. Take her off-ball movement, for example. In a game where space is everything, Hull's ability to find open lanes and create opportunities is a game-changer. Her cuts to the basket keep defenders on their toes, while her 3-point shooting forces opponents to stay honest. It's this combination of skills that makes her such a nightmare to guard on defense. Hull's versatility is just as important. She can guard multiple positions, switch onto different players, and disrupt passing lanes with her quick hands and sharp instincts in a format where